Hey, Mama G here. Hello, all you wonderful Lima Christian School students. I miss you tons and tons and tons. This is lesson 3, the turtle, part B, and this is for 7th through 12th grade. So remember, we're all starting in the same place. These two lessons are the same. It's going to change up on part C. Okay, so this lesson's the same for everybody. This is refining the drawing, and we've done this before. So what you're going to need is not just your paper. You're going to need your paper with your turtle on it. Here's what I mean. Lesson B, oh, this is lesson A. Lesson A, we took our turtle and we made it into simple shapes. That's what I need you to bring back today. So if you don't have that yet, stop the video, go get it. You're also going to need a piece of, oh, I already said that, piece of paper. No, you only need this, and then you need a pencil and an eraser. If you have the printout of the photograph and the dry erase marker and the plastic sleeve, that'd be great, but you don't need them. So here we go. Here's what we're gonna do. So I already have this. I will show you though where we're going when we're done. So I know this says part A because we haven't changed it up. I'm gonna change it up with you. This is where we're heading though. So on this one, we're gonna be refining it. This looks a lot more of the turtle. Looks like the turtle more than these two do. If I pull my turtle out of his sleeve here, here's my turtle. So which one looks more turtley? Well, they both resemble a turtle. That's good. But this one looks a little more realistic. So this is what we're doing today using this. So I'm just going to go over again how an artist thinks, and then I'm going to set you guys free to do this yourself. All right, so here we go. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take each of these shapes one by one, and we're going to see, how do I need to refine this? What are some little subtleties that are included with this that I didn't use before because I wanted to really simplify it? So I'm going to start right here with the head because there's a couple of places on here that we can refine pretty quickly. If we look at this little turtle's head, one thing that we notice is that the front edge of it is really flat. Do you see his nose right here? It's really flat right here. So right away, I'm going to kind of flatten that. Okay, I think I have his angle of his head a little bit more than it needs to be, but that's okay. And then I am going to say, okay, where does it meet the next shape? Well, there it is right there. That looks pretty good. Nothing really has to happen except what's going on in the middle of this oval. There is, it's almost the middle. You can see it's maybe not quite the middle. There is this little area where he can kind of hide his head. That's his little turtleneck. So we can create that. We have to look at it and say, is it a line? Yeah, it's a line, but there's a slight curve to it, okay? And there's a little bit more in front of it than behind it. Oops, I think I can move it up just a little bit. I can see about how far it is. It's about here. Okay, so I can move that little turtle line up for his neck. What else can I see? Well, I see he's got a little eyeball on this side. It doesn't touch his nose. It's just a bump, so don't think of it as an eyeball. Think of it as like a partial circle, but it's kind of a wonky shape. It starts just inside here, not quite where it touches the nose, okay? And it doesn't go all the way back to touch his little turtleneck here, but it's pretty close. So what's happening here is there's this little bump, kind of like that, okay? So we can make that little bump. That's his little eyeball on the other side. Now, what about this eyeball? Well, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is a bump over top of this one too. It goes just beyond here a little bit. It reaches up here a little ways and goes just beyond back here a little too, okay? So we got that guy back there. That looks pretty good. Now, do we need this? No. So since we don't need that, we can erase that right there. All right, we don't need that. Now we need to look at, okay, where does this side of the oval meet the next shape, which was this line over here? And what we can see is it comes around here, and then it gives a little bit more of an arc right there, kind of an arc out. So we have a little bit more of an indent right there, okay? Just to kind of show us where his little neck starts going into his body. How about his legs? Well, this leg right here, if you guys can see it, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's like this little curve here where it actually will connect the shell. So there's a little curve here, then it bumps out, it follows along what we already have, and then this one eases into it, okay? And for now, because I don't know what the back of his foot looks like, we're gonna make it look like it's a little shoe here. What happens right here? Right there, it eases back into this, Okay, something back there. Now, what we don't need is that little line there, so we can erase that. Okay, and we can erase that little part there. So doing pretty good so far. All right, let's keep going. You know what? Let's put in, he's got this little eyeball, his little pupil here, and I'm going to put that in. It doesn't touch the bottom. It doesn't touch the top of that area that we drew. Just it's kind of like hanging out in there right now. Okay, and there's a little reflection, a little reflected light in there too, little highlight. I don't know if you guys can see it. Boop. Okay, get back here, guy. Okay, so we keep going around and we say, okay, how about this oval right here? Well, right now it's overlapping his shell. That can't happen, right? It doesn't overlap his shell over here, so we can erase that. The shape is a little bit different. When we look at this and we get this a little bit more refined, this is pretty straight the way it is, but then this comes back a little bit harder. It's not like it's really rectangular or anything. That's still a little rounded here, but it's no more an oval. Okay, kind of that sort of thing, and into his body. So there's not too much we need to change there. He's already looking pretty good. I'm liking that. Now the hardest thing to do, which I'm going to walk you through, is the shell. But we can really break this down easily. So first, I'm going to take a look at it. I'm not worried about these little outside edges yet, but I'm looking for something that pops out at me as a line or a shape. And it's right here. If you guys can see, there is almost like a line right here that separates the top of his shell from this little edge here, this little trim. So I can see about how far it starts in here. See that? And over here. And now I can just take that and follow that. It's a curved line, and it kind of follows the curve underneath there. So I got that. That's pretty good. Now these guys, a little bit wonky here. These almost look like armadillo or some sort of armor on him. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 of them on his back before it gets to this part right here. So it's actually 5, but 4 are sticking up. I can see that they are about evenly spaced. Do you see that? This one is about as wide as that one. It's about as wide as that one. Not quite the same, but we're just going to break this up, okay? And try to get it into, we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breaks here on this arc. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See if you can do that. Once you get that done, we have another line that we can do. These little armor guys don't touch all the way down to here. They stop in here. Can you see that? They stop here. Bump, bump, bump. So we're going to create a little line to guide us. And if we were to take the points of these armors and we create a line, here's what we're going to get. Something like this arc. Okay, so go ahead and get that arc in there. And now, here's what we're going to do. This one that I'm going to work on, I'm going to ignore this one underneath here because that belongs to all of these guys. So I'm going to ignore the one that's out here. Oh, wait a minute. That does that one. Okay, here's what we'll do here. That one I did around there. We're going to we'll leave it that way. Okay, so basically we're working on 1, 2, 3 of these. So what do? Well, this line is a little angle to here. This is the same angle. And this is the same angle. So we'll just angle it. Now what happens in the middle of this shape right here is where the point is. Do you see it? Here's the width of it. There's the middle. So right there we have, I'm going to make a point down into this one. Okay, that point. This one has a point. Oh, we can make this little extension there. Point there, and this one has a point there. See how that would be in the middle of those? Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now this one over here is just on that point here, is just a line over. So go ahead and do that. And this one back here is just a line over there. Now what's going to happen? This is actually pretty easy. Everywhere where we have a point on above it, we need to just make a line that goes to the shell. But they are going to change directions slightly. This is going this way, then almost straight, and it's starting to go back this way. Okay, so now we have the shell done. Thought it was difficult, but it's actually not too hard at all. But now we have that last bit of trim that goes around the edge there. So let's do that one. I don't really worry about if this is all evenly spaced. but I am going to, I can see that they're about the same amount. The first one's a little skinny, so I'm just going to put a little line. You can see the angle there. And this last one's pretty skinny. Now these ones in here are going to go straight down, and then they're going to start to turn a little bit. Okay? Straight down, and then they're going to start turning. You see that? All right, next what we're going to do is we are going to create those little edges here. So here's what happens. This one, I think somebody's playing PUBG. I can hear it in the background. It's got to be my kids. I should let them know that they have a speaker on down here. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just extending this line, but I'm making it, instead of going around to the circle, I'm putting it a little bit straighter over and then up. And so then it's creating a cool little ridge here. You guys can see that. These ones over here don't really have it too much. There's a little bit when you get over here. We can extend that a little bit. We can extend that a little bit, but then it pretty much goes straight into what we have. So there is our tortoise. That's as far as we need to get today. That is for grades 7 through 12. I love you all. Mama G out.